Sorry about the lighting, and also sorry that my voice sounds weird. But good afternoon. Welcome back here to another yapping stream. So this one is about a little bit of a more serious topic, and I have a lot of notes here. I have dementia. I forget shit, guys. We all forget. And so I decided to type down some notes of things I just wanted to go over with you guys. Worry, stress, and overthinking. Okay, now worry, stress, and overthinking are feelings and emotions that I felt, a lot in my teenagehood and even in my adulthood. And I am working on it, and I know it isn't easy, but you guys have got to try to work on these three things. And so, how I want to talk about it is to just kind of go over as to why, each isn't necessary. So, first, um, now I know it's hard. I know it's hard to not overthink. And there's a hair dangling there. The fuck? Whatever. I know it's hard to not overthink. This test is coming up, right? Let's say this test is coming up. You're stressing out because it's worth like 30% of your grade, and if you fail it, then you're not going to be able to pass the class. And so when you think negatively like that, you you're projecting that negativity onto yourself, and you shouldn't project that. What the hell is that down there? You shouldn't project that negativity on yourself, right? I know I haven't worn this jacket in a while. It's been a bit. So first thing we're gonna go over is why worry isn't necessary. So worry isn't necessary because I feel like that worry is caused by when you're thinking so negatively about something that hasn't even happened yet. And this can kind of tie into thinking too much about the future. And so what I have written down here is worry isn't necessary because you're thinking too negatively about something that hasn't even happened yet. So you're thinking way too much. Okay, let's say that you have an exam coming up. And the reason why I use the exam example is because a lot of people stress out about it and even think negatively about it. Um, but honestly, worry comes from when you're either thinking way too much about something that has already happened, or if you're thinking way too much about something in the past, which you can't even change anyway. And so I have a lot of notes here that I'm just going over. And so what I also wrote down is that you are creating false scenarios and outcomes in your head. So when you're worrying about something, it's really when you are creating a false scenario, or a false outcome in your head, meaning that you're literally imagining the worst thing that could happen instead of imagining the best thing that could happen, right? And so some solutions I wrote down here, and I could be missing a lot of solutions here, but the first one is so you want to try to remain in the present moment. And so what that means is that you want to remain where your feet are. For example, right now, you're watching this stream. Thank you all for joining and watching this stream, right? You guys are watching this stream right now. Um, it's whatever. I don't know what time it is for you guys, but that's remaining in the present moment. Is actually watching the stream and, engaging and all that, right? The next solution is to try to think more positively. So what that means is that instead of imagining the worst outcome about that test that's been bugging you, imagine the best outcome. Imagine, wow, what if I get a B plus or an A on this? I study? What if I studied so much that on test day I just know everything? Like I'm so prepared. You know. Hello, welcome to the stream. There, welcome. Thank you for joining. Today, I'm currently talking about why worry, stress, and overthinking are too necessary. Currently, we're on the first category. And so, yeah, so just try to think more positively. And you guys are going to be hearing a lot about thinking positively and staying in the present moment throughout the stream because a lot of these things can be solved by using the same methods. And so, the solution also is to try to solve the problem that is causing you worry. As an example, and I know I keep using the test as an example, but that's something a lot of people and even some college students stress a lot about. So let's say that this test is worth like 30% of your grade. You have only a week left to study. You don't feel prepared. You don't feel like you're going to pass. So you want to actually try to solve the problem because complaining about the problem is not going to solve it. And I wish I learned this when I was younger because I always complained. And sometimes I still do. Sometimes we as humans, we still just complain a bit, but we want to actually try to figure out the solution to the problem. And so for the test, as an example, you could say, okay, I'm going to study for this, right? I'm going to study for this. Um, I'm gonna study. I'm gonna prepare. I'm going to open up my textbook, my computer, and I'm going to spend the necessary time I need in order to study for this test that is coming up. And so that's those are the solutions to if you're worrying too much, or if it's a project, and if you have people who are not working on the project well with you, like if you're at school, like go to your teacher, or if you're at work, like obviously you have a boss, go to your boss. Like because if they're completely refusing to work with you on the project, you sometimes have to tell your boss, hey boss, so I know you assigned us to work on this project. However, these other people, they don't want to work with me on it. Can you please assist me? So it's really just about solving the problem. I have my notes here, that's why I keep looking to the side. So next, so stress also isn't necessary. Now, a lot of us experience stress in our lives, me included. And stress is a horrible feeling because, and I remember being so stressed out so many days, back in high school. And I never want to feel that way again. Who would want to feel that way? No one, no one would want to feel that way, right? And again, sorry if I look so chopped right now. I just woke up. It's the weekend. I'm not up early. Anyway, so I'm reading it now. So I wrote here: stress isn't necessary for a similar reason as to why worrying is. Stress comes from an unresolved problem. So if you really think about stress, you really think about it. You can think about it this way: stress comes from a problem that has not been solved, right? And so, like, the problem hasn't been solved yet. And so you're stressing out about it because you still don't have an outcome about it. But stress also comes from, again, overthinking, which we're getting into in a second. It comes from thinking way too much about either the future. It's really usually about the future. Like, sometimes people even stress about things in the past, which there's no point in thinking about the past. There's no point in it. But sometimes people think way too much about the future and about, something that really is bothering them. So now stress here. Now, so what I wrote down is that stress can really. So I wrote down stress can really come from thinking way too much or negatively about something that that either you don't want to do, or something that is something that is really bothering you. And so in life, we're gonna have to do things that we don't want to do. I'm sorry, me included. There's things that even I don't want to do. But in life, we have to just do things that we just don't, really want to do. Hello, welcome to the stream. I feel like you've been here before. I'm not sure though, but welcome. Um, and so a solution is to so work on what is causing you the worry, what is causing you the stress, which brings me to my next bullet point, which is to sit down and really attempt to solve the problem. So stress, obviously, it usually comes from either an unresolved problem, meaning something that has not been solved yet, or you're thinking way, way too negatively about something really important that is coming up. And so what you want to do is that you really want to sit down. You want to sit down and you want to ask yourself, number one, okay, so what's the problem? What is causing me the stress? What is causing me the worry? Right? Um, Number two, you also want to identify as to how you feel. I feel like I get these two mixed up. I feel like I should do number two before number one, but you get the point. And I'm trying to remember here. Trying to remember based off of my memory. Even though I have notes here. But you also want to. So first, you want to first identify what is the problem. What is the problem? Two, how's it making you feel? And then number three, you want to identify a solution. And so sometimes it takes time. Sorry. Sometimes identifying the solution, it can take time, and so you don't want to rush. I was here earlier. I figured you were here before. Okay, I figured. Well, welcome back. Were you here yesterday, or were you here the week before? I haven't been streaming like that at all. I came back yesterday real quick, but I've been gone since. And so a solution. So yeah, so you just really want to think about, how can I solve this problem? And so, as example, if this test is okay, I know I keep using this example. Or let's say that your car isn't working, your car broke down, and you're just stressing out. You want to take a deep breath and call somebody to help, and then just try to create 3 to 5 potential solutions, and then identify what is the best one I should go with for this problem. And then you also want to do the deconstruction process, which I'm going to get into in a way more deep way later down the road. But number one, how do you feel? Identify how you actually feel. Number two, let's say you feel sad. Okay, why do you feel sad? Name the exact cause. Okay. Number three, um, identify a solution to it. And then number four, do something that makes you happy or do something that you love to do. Now, next and finally, we have overthinking also isn't necessary. And I know I keep saying the same things over and over again, but it's because that these things do correlate because worry, stress, and overthinking are all things that you're feeling negatively or bad about when you could try to have a more positive perspective. And I know that shit's hard. Believe me, it's tough. But you have to at least try. We all have to try in life. So I wrote this down here. Overthinking simply is when you are thinking too much about something that is bothering you. And so I think it's helpful for the person when you just kind of explain it in a more of a simple way. Because overthinking really is when you are just thinking way too much about something that is bothering you, right? And so I listed two solutions. The first one is try to remain where your feet are, right? Try to remain where your feet are. What does that mean? That means that you need to be right now. Look at what's happening right now. I'm streaming right now. It's an example. Focus on right now. Don't focus on 2 years ago. Don't focus on 3 months from now. Don't focus on 6 months from now. Focus on today. Because what's happening today, that's what matters. The future will take care of itself. The past is literally nothing we can do about the past unless if there's something to learn from it. But really, just never really revisit the past. Just kind of stay where your feet are. Try to think positively about your life. Speak positivity and goodness of your life. And try to have a positive perspective and look forward to the future. But also try to stay where your feet are. So next here is I have this written down. Another one is to attempt to change your perspective and think more positively. If it's a test or a project that's bothering you, attempt to solve the problem by studying and preparing for the test so that you feel less stressed. And so, try to change your perspective. Now, if you're overthinking about a really big event coming up, just try to just sit down and even try to type up some solutions to the problem. First, you have to even identify what the problem is and how it's making you feel. And then you need to identify as to how you can solve that problem, right? And so that's what you want to try to do. Um, okay. Now, the moral is stay in the present moment, stay where your feet are. Let the future take care of itself. I have these written down. I think more positively and optimistically as you will become what you feel. And so what that means is that if you feel crappy, so if you're thinking negatively about your life is gonna feel negative. If you're feeling positive about your life, then your life is gonna feel positive. And so you become what you tell yourself and you become what you project onto yourself. So project positivity onto yourself. So next is actually attempt to solve the problem that is causing you worry, overthinking, or stress or anxiety. Lastly, do the deconstruction process whenever you don't feel yourself because of something that is bothering you. Don't just sit in the mud. Number one, how do you feel? Number two, why do you feel that way? Number three, what is the solution? Most important one. And then number four, do something that you love to do. Okay, my hands hurt today. My hands are just killing me. Okay. Thank you very much for watching the stream. It's just gonna be a shorter one today. Usually I stay longer if the chat is more active, but I'm gonna just head on out now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next stream. I hope this is helpful. I hope you guys can find this helpful, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.